asset class, diversifications you have experience across board, just like you talked about right now, including industrial, which you touch bases on now, right now.
hmm
Now, what about healthcare, mixed use properties? How do you advise clients on choosing the right assets based
Right.
on their long-term wealth objective? How do you instruct some people that are investing in those areas?
Of course, yes. Again, it's case by case. It depends on the client's goals, right?
Okay.
And it also depends on their capacity. I think a lot of people go into commercial thinking, oh, it's going to be easy, but it takes a lot of time, right? It
Hmm.
takes a lot of that initial investment of time. So, um, the first thing, that I do with clients is have a sit down. What are your goals? What is your capacity, right? Because that's a very important, I think some people shy away from that discussion, meaning
Yeah.
realistically, what can you handle in this point in time?
Yeah.
Or what is your realistic timeline in the future to getting to that goal? So those are the major, like it's first item to talk about
Okay.
before
Okay.
deciding the asset class. And you mentioned medical. Medical is always, I think everyone is always rushing to have some form of medical investment property under the portfolio. Why? Because they tend to, provide long lease terms, right? Higher
Okay.
rents.
Hmm.
Medical tenants tend to be able to afford higher rents. So that definitely is so it's popular anytime clients are looking for retail investments. They're always wanting to have something that has medical in it.
Okay.
But of course, with higher rents comes the higher cost of the property. So
Hmm. Yeah.
again, it's all about what is the client's goal and what is your capacity at this time. And if you're not at that level of being able to achieve that goal, let's set a timeline for you to work towards getting to that goal. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. That's good. With every deal comes the risk aspect of things that much.
hmm
Sometimes we like to want to convince ourselves it's all going to be profit all the way, and think look at the numbers that look pretty, but sometimes it's always a good investor will consider what are the risks that
Right.
even the good numbers, a good deal that you stumble into do everything about can turn into a bad deal quickly, if it's
hmm
not managed. So during due diligence and contract negotiation phase, what are the most common red flag that you encounter that you could potentially that you would think you would potentially derail
Right.
some transaction? How do you advise your client? How do you advise investors?
Right. So due diligence, always important to do even before you sign that contract. With commercial, there tends to be a lot of due diligence before
Yeah,
that. So I've seen obviously things like environmental issues, right? With
yeah,
commercial
yeah.
real estate.
Uh-huh,
That's one of the inspections that you have to get done, obviously. So deed restrictions, if you had
uh-huh.
plans to buy a land and you're not looking at those fine prints in the deed of what you can do, that's a waste of funds. Because some of those restrictions do last
Yeah.
over,
Hmm.
buyer to buyer. And then, there's title defects, but of course, hopefully the title company catches that.
Hmm.
And then deferred maintenance, I've seen some
Yeah.
properties that they look very nice outside with some patched up
Yeah. Hmm.
paint and everything, but when you look at the systems, it's literally buckling under.
Yeah.
So um it's very important to do that due diligence and have someone, so you need to have a team, contractors, a real estate agent that has that eye,
Uh-huh.
that can, let you know, okay, this is the process. There is no rush. I know you're
Yeah.
excited to have this commercial investment under your belt, but you need to really check your how do they say dot your teeth and check your eyes? You need to really
Yeah.
check your
Yeah. Yeah.
your like the background of the property before
Yes.
you actually go into it.